Good morning, friends. How's everyone doing today? Well, in today's video, we're going to be trying to tackle a big problem with a relatively basic plant. So, as many of you know, when we moved the garden library forward, I lost four of my raised beds, but the main problem is that the soil that remained was uneven and severely compacted from that move. It was almost impossible for me to dig in the soil that remained back here in the backyard. What also happened is that some of my raised beds that were in full sun are now in part to full shade. And as I started to refill some of these raised beds with the soil that had been compacted, I noticed that basically the soil structure was essentially ruined. I don't know how else to put it except that what was once living, beautiful compost just seems to be dry, dead dirt. But not to fear. We are going to restore this soil back to its former compost-filled glory, but it's going to take time because I also lost my compost pile in the process. So right here, right next to the garden library a few days ago, I made this teepee trellis out of just some bamboo that I got off of Amazon. And I was really conflicted about what to grow up it. Now my heart's desire is to grow sweet peas right here, but really it's not practical. Number one, the soil is no good, so that's not good for sweet peas. Number two, it's full sun, nonstop, all day, baking hot. And also the thing is with soil that is devoid of nutrients and compost is that the water is just going to drain right through it. So I was trying to think about some other solutions, maybe cup and saucer vine, butterfly pea, but what I really need is to restore the soil right here. So I'm going with hyacinth bean vine, a very common flower that's very readily and easily grown from seed that can handle this kind of really difficult and bad situation. Bad soil, full sun, no irrigation on my part. Of course, I'll get it sprouted and growing, but after that, I'm not going to bother watering it at all. It'll just get what it gets from the rain. And so my hope is that I'll have the privacy that I need right here, but most importantly, once the hyacinth bean is all done, I'm just going to allow these vines to compost in place, leave the roots in the soil all through the winter, and then kind of till it in gently, not with a tiller, just by hand, real gently next spring, and hopefully that will help restore the soil in this bed. Now, in regards to the other beds, where the soil was also really messed up, I'm basically making miniature compost piles in the base, and then I am going to have to bring in a little bit of manure, I think, just to help me out, because in these two beds I want saving grace and I want the soil to be really good there. But let's go ahead and plant this bed now with hyacinth bean vine and see if we can fix the land with something that the land has given us already. And Grace is thoroughly enjoying the sunshine today. Hey Grace, how's your day going? Eat any garbage last night? Gracie, did you eat the rib bones in the garbage last night? She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just looking at the flowers. So here's a look at the seeds. And what I did once I got the soil back in this raised bed is I did go through the area with a cultivator all the way down to ground level. And then I just went ahead and stuck these 7-foot bamboo poles into the ground. I stick them up vertically at first, and then I bend them toward each other. Go ahead and secure them. I just secure them with yarn because I have a lot of yarn on hand, but you could also use twine. And then just one more cane across the top for support. Hyacinth bean wants to go into the earth a 1/2 inch down. So right before I grabbed my camera, I just took my hoe and made 2 little troughs for us. I'm just going to stick 2 hyacinth beans per bamboo pole. I'll thin that down to 1. So just cover up the seeds now. And I planted the seeds on the inside of the trellising system so that I can come back through and plant a different crop on the exterior. So now that I've got those beans planted, what I'm gonna do is make another trough right through the center of this bed, and I wanna go ahead and plant some lettuce right here. That way I can get 3 crops out of this bed. And since the lettuce like it a little bit cooler, and I'm a little bit late planting this lettuce, the hyacinth bean vine is gonna help give it a little bit of shade as it grows. So I just went inside and grabbed some lettuce seed. This is a lettuce that I've grown before. It's called Red Salad Bowl. I'm just gonna go ahead and sprinkle this throughout the middle. I loosened up the soil a little bit. So now I'll go ahead and just sprinkle this lettuce seed underneath what will be our hyacinth bean vine teepee. And we'll water this in really good at the end. Now what I want to do on the exterior of the bed to help break that soil up is go ahead and plant radishes. Now I don't really care for radishes, my family don't either. And when I worked at Plain and Fancy, I grew so many radishes there, and the cook never wanted them either. But radishes are great for helping to break up the soil and aerate the soil quickly. And this seed packet I got for free with my Baker Creek order. So let's try these. Japanese wasabi radishes. Now this particular radish comes to maturity in 60 days. So my hope is get a crop of radish here, help break up the soil a little bit more, and then come back in this area in 60 days, pull the radishes, and plant something a little more ornamental on the sides. We'll see kind of what we need at that point in time. Maybe we'll want some alyssum or some calendula to help us with pests that we might be dealing with in 60 days. But let's see how these radishes work out. I'm not sure if you can see how bad the soil is, but it just kind of sticks together too in these hard clumps. I'll just cover those back up with a little bit of soil. Let's take a close look at the soil texture and quality, and then we'll review that in late fall and review it again next year and see how well this experiment worked. So here's our before shot. And the thing is that even the cultivator can't seem to break this up. I mean, and just as a comparison, so that's what that bed looks like. You know, as comparison, if we walk up to this bed of ranunculus and just grab a little bit of soil, hopefully I don't have any forget-me-nots right here, but you know, that's what I want my soil to look like. So let's see what happens. Grace, what do you think? Do you think hyacinth bean vine is the answer? Okay, good talk. So friends, I'd love to hear about some things that you've done in the past to help save your soil from this type of a compacted situation. I really want to do whatever I can to bring life back into the soil without spending any more money. I have spent a lot of money on the library, of course, and moving the library was an unexpected expense. So even saving money on things like mulch this year, mulching the main flower walk, I might even forgo doing things like that. The main flower walk soil is good. It's really densely planted, and I may only mulch the driveway garden this year. So I've got a lot going on in my mind in terms of thinking about saving money, thinking about restoring the soil back here without spending any money, just using what I have. Also, I should ask you this, can you see behind me? So back behind these two raised beds, the soil behind that is even worse. I literally cannot dig a hole back there. It's impossible. And the cultivator just rolls over it. It refuses to go down into the ground. So I'm looking for some suggestions on how to break up the earth back there. Maybe something that is surface sown. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm all ears. And this is really a new learning experience for me dealing with this kind of compaction. But friends, I do think it's all for the best, because the best way to learn something is to go through it. But I'm all ears on any advice that you can share with me about how to deal with this situation, just with using what I might have on hand. Well, friends, I want to wish you a wonderful day out there in your gardens, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye.